All right. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whatever which way you want to put that. But wherever you may be, I hope that you're having a great day. You have found Old Guys Still Rock. We are two dudes that are going through life just like you and everybody else in this world. But we decided to put together a podcast that addresses those. So our main target are guys and ladies that are in that 40-plus area. Now, I understand that we are getting some younger generation in there, but this is just the thing that we can talk about business, talk about hurdles that we have in business or life or marriages or whatever that may be, but stuff that you're talking around the water cooler is what we're talking about here. If you're one of those guys or ladies that you would like to be a part of this or express your opinions or tell us how you're winning or maybe your failures and how you succeeded, we would love to have you on this show. Most of all, when you get to see this episode, we want you to do a couple different things, which would really not only help us out, but it's going to help the rest of the world out. We need you either to like it, dislike it, leave us a comment in the YouTube spot or the Spotify spot, but most of all, we need you to share it. Those are the three things that maybe there's four things in there, but those are the most important things for us right now is because we feel that the messages that we've had over, and this is week number 16?
16, buddy.
16. Sweet 16. Our audience is definitely growing, and we appreciate those who followed us out there so far. It's been awesome. We get some great responses on there, but we still know that there's our purpose is much bigger than just a couple of the comments that we have go don't. We really need to get this message out. So again, comment. Let us know if you like us or don't like us. That's okay if you don't. And your wins, your successes, your failures, whatever that may be, whatever the topic is we are going to talk about. Today is one of Brent's favorite topic and something that we're going to break into right now is talking about for the love of the game. But before we get started, for those of you who don't know, I'm Blair Armstrong. I'm located in beautiful Indian Wells, California. My profession is as I am a luxury specialist in the art of real estate. So we stretch from basically Palm Springs all the way up to Coachella, which is basically, again, the Coachella Valley. And then on my right is Mr. Brent Wright. He's located in beautiful Eugene, Oregon, a master. Well, actually, I don't know if you would be a master. I don't think you would claim yourself as that, but an owner of multiple businesses throughout his arena. Has a body shop.
Master of disaster, maybe.
Master of disaster, right? I don't know if we ever become true masters, you know? We could mess some stuff up. Maybe the master of destroying stuff and putting it back together.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, we do. I can cut a car in half and put it back together. Beyond that's my struggle.
How long you been in the car business, brother? For those of you who don't know, that Brent has a great body shop out there called Body Works, just near the Eugene Airport. It is. I remember when it started, and to go back and witness it today is pretty amazing. Of how big you've grown over the last 20-something years.
Yeah, so total in the industry this year started year 36.
No kidding. God.
Yeah.
Gee.
Old guys do still rock.
Still rock.
We might rock a little slower, but we rock. So, yeah, so this is year number 9 at our location. Started in August on Airport Road. Prior to that, it was off of River Road, and the beautiful city of Eugene put the kibosh to that when they moved the urban growth boundary. So, but it forced me to do some cool things, which we can talk about in another
Absolutely.
podcast. So, went from 1,000 square feet to 9,000 to 42,000. So,
better watch out for Sella. Brent Wright's coming after you, man.
I don't quite have 210,000 square feet like he does, but times 3 now, which is cool to watch.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy, right? That's another interesting ride to kind of see how such a small supplement company in the state of Missouri can grow to be something so special. But again, another episode.
Yeah.
So, brother, you've had a couple of changes since yesterday. Kids went back to school.
Yep.
Mom's got a little bit of freedom. Is she doing okay?
Yeah, she's doing all right. She said it was quiet yesterday. It was good for a little while and then not good for a little while. So we spend a lot of time with the kids in the summer. a lot of structure. We got a new puppy this summer, and so they've been, spending some time teaching the new dog, and we've had a lot of construction and a lot of things and rentals and all kinds of fun stuff. So it's been a busy 3 or 4 months. It's actually been about a busy, 30 years, but
Yeah. And you're still the school that you are contributing to
yep.
in so many different ways.
City
It's
First
still
Christian
growing.
Academy. Yep.
Yep.
They were still doing tours the day before school started for new students.
Wow.
So super cool to watch.
Yeah.
We've got a great administrator over there, Melissa. She's doing good things, and our board has been kicking tires and lighting fires, trying to support all the growth and prosperity. So as with any business, when it grows, it's painful, but we've got God on our side, so that's been awesome to watch.
Yeah, it's pretty. Too is it's not. I mean, it's a regular school, but it's not a regular school. It's not following under that curriculum of a typical school district.
Yep.
There's actually
Private Christian community.
Private Christian community.
Yep.
A little bit different structure than you want to, or not want to, but are used to. So some great things, kind of giving a little bit more special attention to the kids, not overpacked in classrooms and so forth. So
maximum in classroom is 20.
that's great.
Yep.
That's great. Well, as I see your children from afar, it's pretty awesome to watch. Those of you guys who don't follow Brent Wright, I would definitely follow Brent Wright and watch how his kids interact, not only in life but basically just helping out. They're moving dirt movers from quads.
You see that, buddy?
Yeah, dude, it's impressive, brother. I mean, helping getting the eggs from the chickens and just there's just so much into that, and it's pretty awesome because when they grow up, which we talked about last week, their common sense is going to be uncommon.
It is. Hopefully, that's the goal.
Well, that's a goal, right? You kind of want to be that. So if you guys missed last week's episode, definitely go check out why common sense is so uncommon right now. These kids have done a great job, and I know a lot of you parents out there do the same thing. It's like we're talking about Brent right now, so he's going to get the spotlight. It's just fun to watch, to kind of see these kids and just how, his son opens up the door and they're reading and how many books they've demolished and all this stuff. And again, I know a lot of you do that, and if you do that, share it with us or share pictures or whatever it may be, because it's awesome to watch, and I think more people need to see that. We always talk about these kids getting locked up and watching their phones or having an iPad to watch a movie and different things, and there's a lot of people, sons included and stuff like this, but there's a lot of people out there that are teaching their kids to devour books and to contribute to the family in the ways that they can contribute at a certain age. So it's been awesome.
Thank you.
But enough about you, brother.
No,
No, it was awesome. And April, and not to take away from anything, April does one hell of a job. She is.
I wouldn't want to do it without her. I wouldn't want to do it without her. She is the reason why we are successful. So
that is. It's pretty awesome to watch. So again, I would definitely follow Brent on there and watch them. And if you guys have stuff that you do with your kids and stuff like we were just talking about right now, would love to see that. Go ahead and follow us either on Instagram or on Facebook. Love it either way. Or again, just go ahead and put your pictures or comments in our YouTube channel or on our Spotify channel, which is Old Guys Still Rock.
Yep.
But anyways, brother, I want to get into it. We talked the love of the game. You talked about this stuff, and there's some things that you do for your employees, what you found to be important. Now, share that with us of kind of why the love of the game. Why is that movie so important? Not just because of the movie, but what it is for you, for not only your life, but the way that you run your business.
So I made a decision 23 years ago when I first came here, while I was struggling, while I was living in my truck, that I was going to do everything that I could do to do it for the right reason and for the love of the game. I'd watched that movie. At that point, it wasn't old. A fairly newish movie. And
Right.
it really struck a chord with me, to do things not just for the right reason, but for the love of the game. If you're going to do it for the money, you're probably going to fail. If you do it for the right reason, the reason is because you love it and you want to do better and you want to participate in life in a more effective manner, then you'll always be successful. They say, what's that saying? Do something you love and you'll never do a job in your life, right? And so
Right.
that is what I try to guide and coach my staff to do. Anybody that I can interact with, I try and guide and coach them to do that. I don't want people that just come here for a check. I want them to take pride in what they do. I want them to show customers. I mean, some of my coaching clients have come to me because they've interacted with my staff, not with me, but with my
Right.
staff. And so they've been so impressed with my staff, they're like, it's got to come from somewhere. Well, I'm hoping and praying that it comes from me, and it comes from me teaching them about the love of the game. So a long time ago, when DVDs were still cool, I used to actually buy a stack of DVDs and hand it to my new employees and tell them to take it home and watch it, and then we would discuss it. The movie is a long movie, but it's very important about the fact that during it, Kevin Costner's character goes through the whole process of showing what he did throughout his career as a baseball pitcher and why he did it and how he got there and how he was so successful. And at the end, of course, we all know how the end works. He writes on the baseball, hands it to his owner, and it says, "For the love of the game."
So good.
Because he asked him
What?
why he's quitting. He asked him why he quit, why he's retiring. Because he's retiring, because he's on top, and he loves the game. And he wants to quit on top. He doesn't want to quit on the bottom.
When you showed that to your employees, obviously they probably looked at you a little bit funny. Now, again, this could also be for your kids.
Yeah.
It could also be for your spouses, significant others, friends, whatever it may be, colleagues in your workplace. So we're specifically talking about your employees and how it impacted your employees. What was their first reaction when you handed in this and then said, basically, you're going back to a high school type of thing or maybe a college type of thing, and said, hey, I want you to watch this movie, and then when you get back, we're going to discuss it. It's got to be the weirdest little experience an employee can have. Like,
Yeah.
why the heck am I going to watch a movie and then have almost like a book report when we're
Yep.
said and done? What was that reaction? And after they saw it, was there like, hey, what did you think about when I asked you to watch this, and what do you think now? Did you have that type of reaction?
Yes, and I'll segue around that and then
Okay.
circle back to it. So no different than what I told you to do about 3 or 4 years ago with one of your employees. Hide a $100 bill in the back of the book. Hand them a book. See if they read it. I did the same thing. I put a $20 bill in that DVD case.
Got it.
If they never came back to me and said, "Man, what was that 20 for?" and I watched the movie, then I know they didn't watch the movie. Then I knew that they weren't engaged. Then I knew that they didn't want to really be here for the love of the game.
Yeah.
So I hand them a $3 DVD with a $20 bill in it. Right? It's the ultimate test.
I smile because I just remember that I did that. I still haven't got a freaking response from that, and they're no longer here. So that explains everything.
Yeah, it sure does. And so,
Oh
yeah,
my
it's
God.
definitely a weird response from people. They're like, what am I doing this for? Why is this necessary? Is this part of the job? Is it a requirement? Right? It's not a requirement. I'm trying to, just like I told you in the first 3 interviews, I am trying to help you get to a better spot in your life, whether that's with me or with someone else.
Yeah.
I just want people to get better. I just want people to do better. I just want people to be placed in the spot that best suits them and makes them successful.
Yeah. For the love of the game, right?
For the love of the
You
game.
go for the love of the game. And I think that's a big, important thing. I think what you're saying right there, is so critically important for so many different parts. And again, we're talking a little bit of entrepreneurship or business right now. But again, what I said just a couple minutes ago, what I'm hearing you say, again, going back to this could be for family, this could be brothers and sisters, whatever it may be. There's so many different spots this could be in. But you're engaging somebody, you're equipping them with some wisdom that can carry on for life. Yep. And then as you continue, as what you said is you want them to continue to become better. You're empowering them to go out and now do the same thing for somebody else, right?
Yep.
So it's one of those things, and I know that we've heard this before in so many different things. Engage, equip, and empower. And what Brent's saying is, again, we're talking about his business, but he is wanting whoever that he comes in contact with, he wants to pour into them as much as he can and as much as they will accept, so their life too can become better. And then when that time is to pass the baton, they are equipped with enough wisdom that they can go ahead and empower somebody else and then start that whole process over again. And it's just one thing that we kind of seem to miss. I feel we've talked about this in so many different episodes, but we have become so busy and such fast pace in there. You probably I know you took time over countless days and stuff like that, but that first interaction probably took an hour to 2 hours of total time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
that hour to 2 hours had changed the dynamics in so many different ways. Now, obviously some of the people stayed around, some people didn't. But the problem is you took the time to make some sort of impact. So if you have, let's go back to the Love of the Game, the movie on there. What are some have you used it outside of business?
I have, yep.
And what are some of those ways you used it for that?
I've used it during board trainings in the past when I was with Committed Partners for Youth, and then eventually became Big Brother, Big Sister, and then got assimilated with another nonprofit. I recommended it to anybody that would hear me say it. Go watch the movie. Go watch the movie. And the few people that ever take me up on that are impacted by that. If they're truly watching the movie to watch the movie, not just Netflix on Friday night, right? And so, if you take it as a learning experience, kind of goes back to the reason why we started this podcast, right? Mm-hmm. People were reaching out to us. We were talking with folks, and they're like, I don't know what to do. I've been successful. I don't know how to help. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do anymore. I can only hit so many golf balls every day. I can, what do I do? Well, you love the game at one point. Why did you stop playing?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so it does change, right? Mm-hmm. So after you sell your business for 9 figures or whatever, you might not want to go into the office every day. Mm-hmm. So start a group. Start a podcast. Teach people for the love of the game. Teach people what drove you to have the tenacity to succeed.
Yeah. That's just really good, man. And I think that's, we talked about that again. Sometimes repetition is what is absolutely necessary for to get the message out. But you just said something right there. It's like, okay, you sold your business for 9 figures, 10 figures, whatever that may be. And like, okay, I'm going to go sit on the beach drinking a Mai Tai somewhere. That's great. That's awesome. But is that really, at the end of the day, is that your purpose, right? You work so hard to win the game to a certain point. Why don't we take that baton and then go ahead and pass it so the game can continue, and knowing that you're still contributing? Yep. Saying you have to spend 60 hours a week doing it, but helping somebody else fall in love with the game. I told you today, it's like it was a crazy week. I dropped the ball on some stuff, man. Super fortunate to where we are right now. But there's times that you get frustrated, and like, I don't like this game. I want to take a time out. I want to go sit on the bench for a little bit and just let things dust down. But the problem is you've worked so hard. The frustrations are part of that game, and it's a part of it that you loved, right? And you have to. There's days that you have to remind yourself like, why am I doing this? And again, I think that if any business owner truly looks at themselves in the mirror and they're impacting either their community or employees or whatever that may be, it's one thing that I'm slowly learning, and I've learned a lot from you watching this, is that what we do is not about us at the end of the day. This really has nothing to do with us at the end of the day. Yes, we're helping people do stuff, but the bottom day is how are we making our community better?
Yep.
You know, if you look on our website for Team Armstrong, our mission statement is building communities by building community, and you cannot build a solid community until you have interaction with everybody, and that's the love of the game. It's
Yeah.
There's just days that you do not like people, and I know that there's days that people don't like me. I'm sure there's days that people don't like you either, Brent, but that's okay. There's just going to be those times, but if we continue to interact with each other and learn with each other, that's a part of the game. That's a part that when there are the wins, that's the part that we do love. Michael Jordan did.
Simon Sinek says it really well. He says, "Are you playing a finite game or an infinite game?"
Yeah, and I think that's right, because we should be
So
playing an infinite game.
when you're feeling like it's not going well and you want to give up and burn it all to the ground,
Right,
you're
yeah.
playing a finite game, right?
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
playing it to the end, right? An infinite game has no end and has no beginning. You're just playing it for the love of the game.
Yeah, and that's parenthood's that way.
Oh yeah.
Marriages, hey, you know what? This is a big thing. We talked about this a couple episodes ago. We talked about marriage, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to downplay, but we're just going to use a metaphor, I guess, or whatever. I don't have the right words for it right now, and thank God we're raw on this. But marriage, in essence, we can look at it as a game, and if you don't fall in love with that game, your marriage dissipates, and you don't. It's one thing. Society's made it very easy to walk away and quit the game.
Yep.
And there's days that all of us had it. You want to quit the game, and because there looks like another game's a little bit better. But what Brent's saying
the grass
is,
is greener where you water it. So
better
are
to
you
make
watering
sure,
it?
Yeah.
Right. We talk about this in our
And
Legacy Meeting of Men deal this morning. So we have a Legacy Meeting of Men every Thursday. A number of us get together. We've been talking about crock pot relationships. And I might have mentioned it here as well. But a marriage is a crock pot, right? So you put the ingredients in, a little bit here, a little bit there. It simmers, it cooks, it takes time, it takes energy. It's not, the perfect crock pot is what, 12 hours, 14 hours before you get the meal? You got to invest to get the reward.
Right.
Marriage is the exact same thing. You got to keep putting into the crock pot.
Yeah.
And that really hit home for a few guys.
It does.
It's really changed their dynamic.
And that, is a marriage too, as I think it's, for those of us, as obviously we're big faith, God believers on this show, but one thing, marriage to us is a gift. Yeah. And it's how you cherish that gift and do some stuff. And there's days that I have great days, and there's days that I suck. But we all go through that. But what Brent's saying is obviously grass is greener on the other side and all that other part. But what I'm getting at is that if you don't train like you train for a game, and you don't keep working out and you don't keep doing certain things like that, then you will lose the game. And that's the last thing that you need to do. Such a special gift that God's given us in the world of marriage. Very important to keep those spring trainings or training for a championship, whatever it may be.
Baseball
right?
analogies, right?
Yeah, there you go. Right. But anyway, it's just I think it's good just to kind of like, hey, maybe even go back now. Since we're on this topic, is go back and sit down with your spouse or significant other, whoever it may be, or maybe you're just starting a relationship, and watch the love of the game. I think there's some metaphors in that. I think there's some really good metaphors and some golden nuggets in there that you can apply to your relationship, because it's work. It's work at the end of the day. Everything that we do is work, and that's okay. Just don't give up, right? Just don't
Yep.
quit.
Yeah, one
Use
of
a
the other
metaphor
reasons
says,
why we started this. Yeah, one of the other reasons why we started this podcast is because there was a number of people in our genre who were committing suicide.
yeah,
They were giving up on the game, and it really hit home with us. Blair and I had
yeah,
a couple of weepy, teary moments talking
yeah,
about this before we got started. We are trying to make a difference. So we love the game, and we want to play the game, and we want to play a finite game, and so that's why we're here talking with you guys every week, talking with ourselves, talking with each other.
yeah.
A lot of this hits home directly to me. I didn't always do this, which is why
Right.
I got divorced. Right? I'm the
Yeah.
leader. Why did I get divorced? Well, was it her? Was it me? Was it us? Was it the? No, it was me. It was me. It falls to me. I'm the leader. I just didn't know how to lead.
Amen.
The world doesn't teach you how to lead. Right? So
So
you got to
good.
figure it out.
So good. Yeah, and
And that's why we're here, trying to help you
yeah,
to help yourself, to learn how to lead, to learn how to grow.
I think, and I think that's a great point, Brent. I think sometimes we share this episode and so we get some great views, and we always have good views. Whoever watches this, we love you for that. But sometimes it's like, oh, it's just another podcast. I think if you guys really sat down and listened to this, there's really some really golden nuggets that kind of will make you sit back and hunt. Now, do we know everything? No, but I guarantee you, it's going to spur something in your thought process that maybe change your mindset just a fraction of a little bit. To make that adjustment, to become better at your game, work, home, family. We're all suffering through that. The last thing that we wanted to see you guys do is suffer. We're taking an hour out of our day, maybe an hour and a half, depending on the episode. We're not complaining about it because this is what our purpose is to help people to get better. We want you to come onto the show and say, hey, I'm doing this. This helped me get better. And then you come over and then it hits somebody else's home. We're talking about a long-term play. You said finite, but there's an infinite thing to it. Is the impact that we're making here is going to stretch farther than we possibly not. We're not saying that we're great. We're just out here doing whatever we can do to make a change because society right now is not fun, and there's people are suffering. Some people are winning. Talk to somebody that is like, my life is so great. I get it. But you're not telling me the truth because life isn't great every day. It's not sugar and rainbows. It's hard. But this is an avenue for people to reach out or to relate to or come to or even direct messages that no one else can see is like, I'm struggling here or, hey, I'm going through this. What did you guys do to do it? We may know.
Well, hell,
Most likely we know.
If you are winning, share that with us.
Share it.
Give us the cheat codes. Show us all.
Yeah.
Show us how you're winning, right?
Yeah.
And maybe, just maybe, Blair, maybe their winning is only in their head. And that's okay too.
Yeah.
That's the first place it has to start. It's got to start with you, right?
Yeah. And you said something that just spurred my a devotional that I read. Something is like, if you're winning, we want to know.
Yeah.
But what is your win changing your community? Community
Correct.
may be 1,000 people. It could be 10 people. Some people have that tight circles. Whatever. I like tight circles. That's the problem with it. But is your win for you, or is your win for the community? Yeah. And there's a lot of self-indulgence out there, and everyone's talking like, hey, in my world, and you see it in the body shop world too, but in my world, hey, I sold this house. That's awesome. And I'm sure that you guys are doing stuff behind this stuff or whatever business it may be. What are you doing to change your community, to change your industry, to go ahead and take back what we've lost of, I just think I'm going a separate, completely down a rabbit hole right now, but ask yourself this, again, just to repeat myself, is your wins changing your community? We understand it's changing you, but what is it doing to help the community get better?
Yep.
For the love of the game.
For the love of the game.
For the love of the game. So, Matt, I think that we've covered a lot here. and I want to encourage this, and Brent's going to say some stuff here in a little bit. But I really want you guys who've watched these episodes, and again, we're growing, our subscriptions are growing, our views are growing. That's just awesome, and we really appreciate it. But we really need you to share this, and we want to really hear your impact. If you don't want to be on here, it's not easy. I'm sure, Brent's probably pretty good at it, but I'll be perfectly honest. I get butterflies every time we come on here because we're putting our lives out there and letting you know our wins and our losses and our failures and what we've done. Brent just said, he was divorced. I've been divorced at a young age. I learned a lot from it. Our relationships, I got remarried real late in life.
Same.
And it's hard. It's hard because you become accustomed to, hey, this is who I am and do stuff, and all of a sudden I have to make more changes. And at 45 years old or 44 years old at the time, it's not easy. And it's the same thing for business. If you're starting over for business, you may have done something in the past that was easy, and now it's not the same thing anymore. So, again, that's what we created this show for, is to let you know that you have an avenue to talk about. We're not a typical podcast, but we want to hear about your wins. We want to hear about your losses. We've had some great guests in the past, with John Wagner and Caitlin. We had Joe Daniels. By the way, I don't know if you follow this or not. That kid has not lost yet, man. He is 6-0 in Europe. They're going to the playoffs. Great episode to go back and watch. Joe Daniels on there. It's just fun to watch. So I'm going to say that it was just because that he was on the show that he hasn't lost yet, and they're probably going to win the championship because he's an old guy still rocking. There's just something cool about being on here to win that. Nice. I hope he doesn't lose again because now I have to eat my words. So, brother, final thoughts for you, my man.
As always, my final thought is always just go out and make a damn difference. Yeah. That's it. Okay. Make a difference.
Watch the love of the game, guys. Some good stuff out there. And I can't say this enough, is we really need your support more than ever. A lot of crazy stuff going on in this world, but we just know that Brent and I are truly behind you. And I know if our wives were on this show, Chrissy would say the same, and April would say the same thing.
That's a good episode, dude. We should do that.
That is a good episode. I love that. And we could tie everybody in. We probably, Okay, it's been stated, dude. We're gonna get our wives on here. I know April will love that to death.
Oh yeah. roast the old guy.
Roast the old guy. So. Oh boy, I got more. Yours is going to be good. Chrissy got something on me, but anyway, just to know that you have tremendous support on here. You could be an old guy or an old girl, still rocks. Doesn't matter who it is, but come out and share your stuff. We want to hear from you. But we really, really, really appreciate everything that you've done for us so far. Sharing the word, giving us likes, giving us comments. Keep doing what you're doing. If there's anything that we can do, let us know. As Brent says, man. Go make a difference today.
Yep.
Guys, that is pretty much it. Brent, what time do kids get out of school today?
I don't know. I don't do that part of life. My wife takes care of that. I think I think they're about 3:10 or something like that. 3:10. So I don't know. Yeah.
Well, give your best to my best to your family. You guys have a great day. Most of all, stay safe, guys. Actually, most of all, God bless. We'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.
Yep.